안녕하세요. 아시아경제TV에서 새롭게 준비한 코인 인터뷰 시간입니다. 저는 진행을 맡은 강채원입니다. 네, 암호화폐 시장에는 여러분이 알고 계시는 코인보다 모르시는 코인들이 훨씬 더 많을 정도로 정말 이제 수많은 코인들이 시장에 존재하고 있는데요. 네, 그중에서도 정말 알토란 같은 코인만을 골라서 그 정보와 기술에 대해서 더 다양하게 알려드리기 위해서 저희 코인 인터뷰가 찾아왔습니다. 네, 오늘의 코인 인터뷰를 찾은 대망의 첫 번째 게스트는 누구실까요? HSR의 아담 게리 부사장님 그리고 앤드류 웨슬로위치 비즈니스 매니저 모셔보겠습니다. So today we have Mr. Adam Geri, Vice President, and Mr. Andrew Wasylewicz, Business Development Manager of HSR Coin. Welcome, pleased to have you two.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. So before we begin, a typical question to start. Would you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Adam Geri. I'm the Vice President of the Hcash Foundation, and we're here to talk to you a little bit about Hcash and what it does.
Good.
Yeah.
Andrew?
My name is Andrew Wasylewicz. I'm the Business Development Manager at Hcash, and like Adam mentioned, here to talk to you a little bit more about what we've been working on and what's to come in the future.
Your first time here?
No, we've been to Korea about 4 times now. And we plan to build a community here.
Right.
Being one of the top cryptocurrency populations in the world.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're very excited to be here and look forward to it.
Well, we're excited to have you guys here. How about you, Andrew? Is that your first time here?
And I've been here a number of times with Adam, and what's happening here in South Korea is very exciting. There's a lot of buzz in the community, and it's really, we're getting a lot of interest from here. So I guess it's a matter of listening to what the people want, and our investors and people that are interested in the project, and spending time in the areas where that's coming from. So that is South Korea right now.
Nice,
Absolutely.
thank you. Wow. So before we actually get to the coin talking, I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
Do you guys actually believe in the development of this blockchain technologies can actually make the world change in a better place to live?
Absolutely. Look, if I was to talk about the Dubai smart city, okay, they're talking about just one of the instances there would be that they're going to turn it into a paperless government. Now, if you were going to talk about that, then you're talking about saving a lot of money, just in the paper itself. But there's other implications that go along with it. It's not just the monetary thing, it's also the environmental issues that go along with it.
That's right.
There will be less trees being cut down, less machinery being used, fossil fuels being used. So it's a huge benefit to society, not just to the government. Yeah.
I see. Any thoughts?
Yes, I absolutely think it will change the world. I believe it's very much like the internet was in the early 90s currently with the adoption rate. Years ago when we were on the internet, we used to have to dial up, have our modem, and now we pull a mobile phone out of our pocket. We're always connected, it's very fast, and it just runs in the background. So for example, when we download an app today from the App Store, we don't talk about the internet and how it works, and we don't have meetups about the internet. It's just flowing and working in the background. And I strongly believe that in years to come, that's the same as the blockchain technology. It will be everywhere around us and just running in the background. And as time goes on, the usability and ease of use will improve, and it'll be much more accessible to everyday person. And people will be using it without realising they're using it because it's just embedded with all the technology.
Correct.
So you guys are true believers.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I guess.
Yeah.
So now let's get to the point. We'd like to talk about HSR, as known as Hcash. So it was established last year, I believe, right?
That's correct.
So I was wondering if you guys give me like more detailed but basic information for those who are not really familiar with the coin.
Sure. About 25 other exchanges around the world. Okay. So it's an exciting time for us, absolutely. Yeah.
In terms of a little bit more about Hcash and what we're trying to achieve, we're trying to be the medium of exchange between different blockchains. So as more and more blockchains are being built, they can only interact on their own blockchain. So for example, Bitcoin can interact within its own blockchain. Ethereum within its own blockchain as well. And as this technology becomes more widely established and adopted, there will be a very big issue of how do we transfer value and information from one blockchain to another blockchain. So that's Hcash's end goal, to be able to link these blockchains together. And there's also many other things we're working on with our quantum resistance and zero proof of knowledge and some other components as well to tie in with that, because it's all well and good if you can transfer value between blockchains,
right.
But if you're not secure or you're not private, especially say if government organisations wanted to transfer sensitive information from one to another, you need to be able to have these features.
Same with the medical industry.
Yeah, many things.
Wow, that was a lot of information. So why did you name it as HSR? Like, is there any specific reason for this?
Just the start of it, so it's the H-share to start off with.
Oh.
As we implement more of the technology going on,
right.
it will then change to Hcash. Yeah.
Cash, I see. So now let's talk about more deep inside. I heard it's quite popular in China, and the investors of cryptocurrency says it's Chinese version of Kyber network. Like, have you ever heard about it?
Really?
Like, what do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, we've heard many things in terms of the industry, that it's like this, or people doing similar things. I think being such a new industry, there's plenty of room for people to do similar projects.
Absolutely.
And it's like any other industry. You look at the, say, aviation industry and how many different airlines there are. So it's good for, it encourages competition, and it encourages people to really be the best they can be. So I think the people that have the best teams and the best development in progress will be the ones that are able to succeed in the end. So there's
continue with longevity.
Yeah, many things like that.
I see, yeah. So it just, came across my mind. Well, I actually looked it up on you on LinkedIn, and I saw your picture. And I thought, oh, okay, Mr. Geri must be a walking, handsome dictionary, like, sharing information on the market with investors constantly. And unlike Justin's son, who's from Tron Coin, appear to be very entertaining and fancy. No offense to the Tron Coin. So is that all kind of planned?
No, I don't believe there was any sort of plan like that. It just sort of happened that way.
I see. That's nice to have, though.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for the compliment.
Okay, so I think it's... Okay, let's back to the coin now. I think it's very interesting to see the combination, which I think is very unique. The combination of Chinese capital and Australian technologies. Like, how did this happen?
Well, we've obviously got links with a lot of different people with the way that we were developing Hcash in the first place. So we go all over the world. It's not just China, to get the best people to do the right job. Obviously, you can't say that you're going to, if you want to be an innovator in the field, like Hcash does want to be the innovator in the coins and blockchain technology, then you need to look for the best. And obviously, the best isn't always in the one country that you come from. So, although we do have professors from Australian universities as well, we've also got contacts with Chinese professors and universities.
Any thoughts on you, Andrew?
Similar to what Adam was saying, that being such a new and niche industry at the moment, you can't find all the talent in the one position. Us being involved in blockchain for some time now, we've been able to build our network up over the years, and so we have quite a wide established network, so it really enables us to be able to problem solve and set targets that haven't been done before, and try and be on the edge of technology. So it's really about getting the best, and wherever the best is, we'll go for that. So it might not be in Australia, it might not be in China, or it might be in China. We'll go after that.
I see. So you have this Untitled Capital of Australia and the Bitmain of China as one of your clients. So would you tell us more about how it was possible to grab such an opportunity? And a lot of viewers on YouTube right now is talking about, you guys are so handsome, maybe so when you guys are talking, look at the camera. They want to see your handsome faces. So.
No worries.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay, so Coinstar is one of the main backers of Hcash.
Okay.
They helped us to get all this organised, and obviously we're working fairly close with them. Yeah.
Yeah, similar to how I mentioned before, just through our network, we're able to get access to some of these people, which is great, and they can obviously see what we're trying to achieve and know the depth of the team and the branch of universities we're associated with. So it's good to be able to get those people on board as well.
I see. So now I want to go more in depth on this matter, but if this question is uncomfortable, you don't have to answer it.
Sure.
It's just a pure curiosity. So as far as I know, the China's CITIC Bank is one of your clients, and apparently the bank is, owned by the government of China. Does that mean that the government of China has an intention to invest in cryptocurrency indirectly? Just a pure question.
Yeah, sure. Look, talking about governments in general, I'm not sure whether it's a question that I'm so comfortable with. Yeah, that's for sure.
I guess.
I think in the government space, everybody's trying to do something different, and being such a new industry, how do we manage this? How do we regulate this? What is the best course of action moving forward? So I think we'll sort of know more as time goes on.
Exactly.
Right. So as Mr. Andrew mentioned before, the universities taking part in research cooperation in your company are just all brilliant. First, we have there's Jiaotong University, which is the best in China. The Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, which is also on top-ranked universities in Asia. And Monash University in Australia, which is the biggest in your country and also specialized in science technology. So if I was an investor, I would totally trust this company in terms of the technology with these amazing universities around the world. So how does that work?
Yeah, well, like we were saying before, we had to go and find the best people to do the jobs that we wanted done. Therefore, we tried to talk to the universities to find out whether they were interested in helping us out. And it all worked out very well for us. Like I said, to us, it's so important to have the right technology.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
If you don't have a strong base and you don't have a strong technical base, I think that it's not going to work as well for you. And that's why we spend so much time travelling the world as well, talking to people like yourself to inform people exactly what we do and why we do it. Yeah.
I see. Any other comments, Mr. Andrew?
I think it's like anything, if you're able to get the right supports in place and the right team, you can really build anything. It's like you're trying to build a 200-storey building. You get that foundation and that base right, you can build as high as you want to build. So once you've got the foundations in place and the right people in place and the right structure, you can then manage that moving forward. So that's it. Without those people, you can't build what you want to build.
I see. So I did my study. I know HSR is hybrid, and it's using an integrated method utilizing both POW and POS. So what are the benefits of that?
With the, obviously with proof of work mining, it's more about how much computing power you can contribute to mining that block. So I can't remember the exact number, but the current the current Bitcoin network, the amount of electricity that's used to mine that globally is more than lots of countries. I think it's about 100, and the Bitcoin computing power is greater than about the equivalent electricity used in about 150 countries, or the smaller countries. So it's a lot of power and energy, and the proof of stake component is more about mining based on the actual stake that you physically possess.
I see.
So it's more efficient from that space, and there's pros and cons to both. So
Absolutely.
That's something that we wanted to incorporate in our part of our plan.
I see. So I looked it up on your best selling points, and I see one of your best selling points is the security. So how's the security so different from other traditional cryptocurrencies?
Well, like we said, we went out to the proper universities to get the right people to do the job. Obviously, I couldn't go out and code that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important for us to be ahead of the game. So, especially with something like quantum resistance, quantum computers are coming. You know, it won't be too long before they're here. You hear a lot about people saying 5 to 10 years. That's only the people that are letting you know exactly what's going on. So, in my opinion, I think that it'll come a bit sooner than that. And it's so important to be ready for it. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Mr. Andrew?
Yeah, I think the quantum computing is very exciting, but it's also very scary as well as to what's to come. All the big players, Intel, Microsoft, Google, there's many very big companies all trying to be the first or build the first mainstream quantum computer. And to give you sort of a bit of a numbers example of what that's like, IBM recently announced they have built a 50-qubit computer, which is short for quantum bit. Oh, wow. Now, it's not very stable and it doesn't run for very long, but it is real and it does exist. And as time goes on, they will become more stable and they will run for longer. So a 60-qubit computer, which is not far from what's already been built, is equivalent to around 64 billion gigabytes of RAM as a normal computer. So when you hear these numbers, you just think, well, that's quite scary, and experts believe that when these quantum computers are out in mainstream, one will have more computing power than all the computers in the globe combined, simply because of how they process things in the way of thinking and just a different level of what we're used to. It's hard to understand how it's done, but the whole idea is that Hcash will be resistant to this computing power, so we're trying to future-proof our technology.
Correct.
You're seeing with Bitcoin at the moment the scalability issues. You can't just implement new code and have it overnight and it does a new feature. You need to get things right from the start and then build on that. So as the quantum computers advance, we can improve and update our code equivalent to what's out there. So it's very important to us to do that because it's definitely coming, and we want to be ready for it and not be in a panic when it's here.
So I guess those things are the things that make HSR really different from other cryptocurrencies. But what would be the most unique quality of HSR?
Well, there's a few unique qualities to it, I think.
Or any other, qualities that you want to
I think the
emphasize?
combination, you've got many different combinations of different, say, cryptocurrencies. You've got, say, Decred, the hybrid mining mechanism that we've incorporated. You've got the zero knowledge proof that we're looking to implement. We've got the quantum resistance component as well. So there's many different technologies we're trying to incorporate in the one, and also having that end goal of being the medium of exchange between different blockchains, which has not been achieved yet. I'm sure that will be a very sort of expanding and hot area in 2018. People to work on that because it's a very real problem that will exist. So I guess combining all that makes it a very big project and different in that sense because it's sort of taking key components of what already exists and I suppose building on it and trying to make it better. No different to say, you look at Samsung, it's one of the leaders in the industry in what they do. They didn't create the mobile phone, but they've come and got what already existed, innovated, and now they're one of the industry leaders. So that's what we're trying to do to continue to develop on top of what already exists.
I see. So, since I did my study, I went on your website and I happened to notice the timeline on your website. And why did you set it up in that way? What would be the ultimate goal of HSR?
I'd say when we say there's many goals, what we're trying to implement, but I guess we look at right in front of us that's relevant today, the sort of beta version of the hybrid consensus voting system, the smart contracts and the quantum resistant features. There's a draft that we've released and it's currently being tested. Once that's tested and it's all completed, that's when we will go from our H share to actual H cash. So it needs a new blockchain and make the transition. So that's our key focus in the coming months, to get that all ready to go and worked on, and then to make sure that it's up and running correctly, and make sure it's ready to go before we release. And then ongoing research and development to continue to improve. As I mentioned before, quantum computers will evolve, so will our code and technology. It will need to remain up to date, as well as continuing to work on the additional features as well. So it's just a step-by-step process, but that's probably what we are looking to do in the earlier part of 2018.
I see. So here's the question. Can I actually use Hcash in my daily life?
Oh, yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a mobile wallet that we've got, you can download from the website, and the wallet actually does proof of stake mining automatically, just by having your H share in there.
Right.
And like anywhere else, we're available on over 25 exchanges across the world. We're generally in the top 20 coins of traded volume, so it's easily to access and get hold of, and really moving forward, the more information and technology that we develop, the more you will see mainstream use, especially when these computers are being built and in the background. So I think people will start to realise that there's a very real threat and the benefits that it can bring.
I see. Looking forward to it. Okay, so last year, the cryptocurrency literally hit Wall Street. The Bitcoin made their debut on future market, and Goldman Sachs actually said they're setting up a cryptocurrency trading desk by this June, I think. So what's your opinion on the global market of cryptocurrency in 2018?
I think it's going to be a very exciting time in cryptocurrency, actually. The more that people start to understand the benefits of cryptocurrency, the more that people get involved in it and start actually investing in it, they'll see the benefits of it, absolutely, and that it's here to stay. I mean, in my opinion, it's going to be here for the long term.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Andrew?
Yes, I think this year will be very big. I think that it's just starting. I think there's so much ahead of us that we still don't know, and I strongly believe that because this type of technology, a lot of key innovations in technology has come out of research through, say, a corporate company or an organisation, or was developed in a university. The way blockchain technology has come about, it wasn't created that way. So I think that's why there's been a lot of hesitation in the earlier days of, well, what is this, and if it's so great, why don't we already know about it? Why aren't we already using it? So I think now that we're starting to overcome that and see the actual benefits, and it's becoming about the real world application and real world use, I really think that there will be huge growth and opportunity in this market. So I think we're just starting out. Like I mentioned earlier, I think we're in the early stages of the internet, and it's an equivalent timeline. And if you look at many adoption curves of key technologies, mobile phones, colour TV, internet, we're still very early. So I think no one can really predict what will happen. I don't think anyone would have been able to see the market today, even from 6 months ago.
Yeah, right.
I still think there'll be it's a lot to happen.
A lot to
happen.
happen.
A lot to happen.
So speaking of which, this cryptocurrency was such a frenzy in Korea, as you guys already know. So what's your thoughts on Korean market?
It's great.
Yeah. The Korean are very smart people.
Absolutely. They were very quick to adopt it.
Indeed.
So I think more credit to them, really.
Really?
It's amazing, and like I said before, the more people that get into it and understand it a bit more, then they can pass it on to other people, and hopefully the whole community will understand, and we'll all benefit from it.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Andrew?
Yes, if you look at daily trading volume, sometimes Korea is over 40%, so it shows there's a lot happening here.
Right.
And I guess really it's about you need to be where the demand is and where the market is. So it seems that people are really understanding what it's about. often the media may portray cryptocurrency as the Bitcoin price and what that is, but really when you dig a bit deeper, it's become so much more than that. It's become about innovation. It's become about technology, a real-world application. How do we use this? How can we make things more efficient, more secure? So that's where it's really going, and I think it's great to see what's happening here in South Korea.
Okay, so just to wrap up, would you like to say something to our Korean viewers?
I'd just like to say we love South Korea and Seoul. So there is
becoming like our second
home.
home.
It's a home. We start saying that when we go back to Melbourne, we'll visit Melbourne instead of visiting here. But we just really love to thank everybody for their support and seeing and sticking by us.
Absolutely.
New technology takes a long time to develop. Especially when it hasn't been developed before, and to get things right and do it the proper way, it takes time. So we thank people for their patience, and we know that with time people will really start to see what we're about, and as the code and the chain develops, that will speak for itself. So we're really excited both for what's happening in this market and also for the innovation that we're working on.
Great. Mr. Geri, any other?
No?
Okay.
Pretty well, mate.
So that breaks the close. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So 오늘 인터뷰에 응해주신 아담 제리 부사장님 그리고 앤드류 웨슬리 비즈니스 매니저 감사합니다. 자, 시청자 여러분 어떠셨나요? 자, 앞으로도 더욱 공정하고 유익한 정보 전달해드리기 위해서 발전하는 코인 인터뷰가 되겠습니다. 네, 저희가 준비한 시간은 여기까지입니다. 시청해주신 여러분 감사합니다.